Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2019 has came to a close, and in today's episode, we're going to tell you about our experience at PRGE 2019. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking Cool Out by Exile Brewing Company. It's a tropical stout.
All right, you know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's talk about PRGE 2019.
Gaming Off the Grid, boom shakalaka!
Alright, here we go. Welcome to the Gaming Off the Grid recap of Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2019. For us, the expo started a little early because we traveled midweek to Seattle to meet some good friends.
Yes.
Finally on the ground here in Seattle.
And met up with BK.
Welcome, boner dogs!
Then when we were in Seattle, we went to Elysian Brewing Company, which was awesome because we've been enjoying their pumpkin beer. So it was cool to actually see the brewery. And then Thursday, we met up with Chris from Telesplash, Sean from the Nerd Lair, and we went to this arcade called GameWorks. And this place was sweet.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh my god, I don't have my phone. It's not streaming, but... yeah.
And there was some House of the Dead that went down, and we're talking down. Like, we beat the game.
We beat House of the Dead 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. There were 3 cabinets next to each other, and there was 2 people on each cabinet. Dude, it was so freaking sweet. And then Chris brought a couple friends. He brought his brother Colton, and then his friend Jesse, and oh my gosh, Jesse, he's a trip.
Don't put me in the center of any video, man. Come on.
So, thus, the Retro Rat Pack was born. This group right here, we were romping and stomping in Seattle.
There's something really strange going on. We're playing some racing games, but you guys got to see this.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
We were also able to knock out a bucket list item, which was hitting Pink Gorilla Games, and we got to hit both locations.
Both locations, which is super cool. I was kind of shocked on how small the original location is, but the second location is a little bit bigger, and it was just so cool to be like, dude, this is a real place.
To actually be there was a little bit surreal, and the first location, I will say this about it, it has a real, like, downtown Japan or China feel.
Yes, it does.
Like, it really felt like we were in that area, and so they did a really good job of capturing that aesthetic. We didn't pick anything up at that first location, but at the second location, we browsed a little bit longer and interacted with some of the employees. And we don't do a lot of pickups here on Gaming Off the Grid, but we did grab a few things while we were there. We got a really cool Pink Gorilla t-shirt.
It's really sweet.
And then I love how they do this with their cartridges. They put them in these bags and have them hanging on hooks.
It's really cool.
I got Lawnmower Man on the Super Nintendo, which is kind of a quirky game, but I've really wanted this in my collection. And then I got the limited edition version of Jade Empire, and that was a really good pickup too. But I just really like how they operate that
It's
store.
just cool to say that we bought games from Pink Gorilla. Like, that's awesome.
Absolutely. I believe that evening, Blazing Chrome went down. We
Yes,
stayed up till like 3:30 in the morning.
We crushed Blazing Chrome.
And when Robert says we, he really means Chris from Telesplash Gaming. Crushed Blazing Chrome. I always knew Chris knew video games and was a good gamer, but dude, he's really good at games.
He was turning down alcoholic beverages to play the game, and I was like, dude, who are you?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
But then we had to wake up early the next day because that is when we were driving from Seattle to Portland for Portland Retro Gaming Expo. So we all piled into Chris's car. There were bags everywhere. We were stacked. It was like 3 hours there. We were having laughs. We listened to some local H. So we finally get to Portland, we check into the hotel, and then it's time to go to the first night of PRGE. Now, Friday night, only the arcade was open, so it's kind of like a get your toes wet kind of thing, but it was still really sweet.
It was, and honestly, I really like how they did that, because let's say the expo was open that night, I don't know how much of the arcade we would have experienced.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It was really neat to know that that piece was over there, know what vendors were over there from a food and beverage standpoint, and just play free games. Everything was turned to free play, so there was rows of console console gaming. We had got the chance to play TurboGrafx 16, which neither one of us has played before.
Sweet. Yeah, I was playing like Alien Crush. It's like a pinball game, and I was like, dude, this is really sweet.
And I was playing some weird platform like a businessman. Like, I think it was JJ and Jeff or something like that.
It was really
cool. A lot of fun. We got to sit down and play a console TV. They had this really cool retro section set up.
Kind of felt like an 80s living room. It was so cool.
But the TV was an LCD disguised as a CRT because I wanted to play Punch-Out on it and do a no-death run.
Yeah, there was a crowd gathering, and he was like,
I just can't. I wasn't even going to try it because I know what would happen. And as we're playing games, hanging out, doing our thing, a little rat-a-tat-tat comes up on the shoulder, and guess who is there? Hair of the Dogcast. Some good friends that we met.
What's up? Portland! Hair of the Dogcast! Stop to Portland.
Way back when at Midwest Gaming Classic.
Yeah, we knew they were going to be there, but I wasn't sure because they were like setting up their booth, and then all of a sudden, there they were. All three beautiful young men were there, and we drank beer with them, and it was just so
Wait, Tom was there, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, two beautiful men and Tom. So then we were hungry, and we decided to go over to Spirit of 77, which is like this little bar across the street. We were like, hey, it's close, there's food, there's beer. Let's just all go as a big group and
when you're with Hair of the Dogcast, it is required you have to be drinking beer.
Oh, I'm taking videos again. I'm such a YouTuber.
You have to. They are beer connoisseurs.
Absolutely.
So we went over there. It was so much fun. We had Telesplash, Nerd Lair, BK, Hair of the Dogcast. We even had BrothersForgeGaming, and like his girlfriend was there.
Yep.
Dude, our squad was huge, and it was such a blast.
No! Don't cross the beard!
And then, wouldn't you know, Metal Jesus and the entire squad walked in, and we were like,
It got crazy. It was really cool, and it's hard in those situations. We have talked to Jason or Metal Jesus before and Kinsey, but it's always been just kind of in passing, and so it's kind of hard. We look up to those channels, so it's kind of hard not to fangirl. But before you knew it, you get a bunch of nerdy people who like beer together in the same area, and guess what happens?
You start talking.
We start talking, and it was just everybody was hanging out, and it was one of those moments where zero hierarchy exists. It literally, we were talking to Metal Jesus, and you wouldn't have known that guy was like one of the big YouTubers. So humble, so down to earth, and that went for everybody that showed up. And at some point throughout this time frame, Gary from RoXolid Productions
he
came
showed
in.
up.
And that's the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line. Because RoXolid Productions and Gaming Off the Grid said so.
Personally, one of my most special moments of the night is I've met Gary in passing at various events, right? And we've always had like a weird, quirky sense of humor with each other, but we've never really got to just talk. And we got to talk for over an hour. It may have even been longer, and it was just really cool.
I am old, I am fat, I am slow, I have no coordination, I have arthritis in this hand, and I'm still gonna whoop their asses. You wanna know why?
Why?
Because I can.
And I'm Sean Kemp, and I have a son in every U.S. city.
Spirits of 77 was a great time.
Oh, it's just so surreal that we got to hang out with them
Yeah.
all night long, basically.
Thank you to everyone that was there, all the way from us, to BrothersForgeGaming, RoXolid Productions, Hair of the Dogcast, Metal Jesus Crew, each and every one of you. That was a special moment, at least for us, because it was like retro nerds right here.
And I'll never forget it. So then after that, we went back to the hotel. Woo! So we went straight to bed, and we were like, okay, it's Saturday morning. It's day 2 of PRGE.
We're heading out. That's how we do it.
Let's freaking crush it like some big dogs.
Yeah, this was the first day that we got to experience the floor. If you guys have ever been to a convention or a larger convention, it's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, you walking in, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah. We didn't have as much research into what we should have been looking for as we should have, because there was a really popular game at the limited run booth, and it was some bird game, right? I'm not going to have the name.
I don't know.
There's some controversy behind it. You guys know us. We don't do controversy here. It's all positive. It's brews. It's having fun with your bros and sisters, whatever you want to do, but we don't do that stuff. But nonetheless, that game was there. We didn't know anything about it.
And it was gone.
It was gone by the time we figured it out, so it would have been nice because we probably could have nabbed a copy, but we meandered around, did some game hunting. One thing that I would give folks advice at face value when you go to a convention, it seems like prices are pretty high. Compare your tables. You will go to one table and you'll see Contra for 25, and you'll go to another and you'll see it for 12 or 15.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Just shop around, look at stuff.
So we were walking the floor, just trying to get our feet wet, and then we ran into Hair of the Dog again, and their booth was set up, and they were like, hey guys, do you want to be the first people on the podcast? Because they were running their podcast all weekend long.
And for our first guest of the entire convention, we have some returning champions.
And it felt good to be somebody's first.
Yeah,
really
it did, and we always will be.
Yeah.
It's so cool doing a podcast on the floor of a convention because people are walking by and you're just laughing, talking.
Yeah, and it's really cool. We kind of talked to the Hair of the Dogcast guys, like them and this retro Rat Pack that we have going with Sean and Chris. We all started shoveling shit at the same time. We were all rookies in like 2018, right? Or 2017, somewhere in that realm. And so we're all like kind of starting at the bottom. Now we're here, you know, and so we're trying to move our way up, and it was a lot of fun just to connect and synergize as a collective. Before too long, we ran into somebody that we've been watching for a long time, a great member of the retro community, a guy that is set to skyrocket through the stratosphere. That is Mr. Russ Lyman.
Yes.
Russ's reputation precedes him as being one of the nicest guys in the community, right? And then you meet him, right?
It's so true.
It was just like, dude, this guy is he's just an OG, man. He is so... He's really, really a good man, a good person, good for the community. And before too long, he's like, hey, do you guys want to do a video? We're like, again, you try not fangirling in this situation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, Russ Lyman just asked me to be in a video, you know, and we did it. It was cool.
It was really cool. And then we were walking around, Russ disappeared, and then all of a sudden, Jason walks out of nowhere from Friday the 13th.
It's weird because he was similar height to Russ Lyman, but I don't think it was Russ Lyman.
But he killed you.
Yeah, he assaulted both of us, and
it was scary.
It was jarring. It was scary, but it happened. You know, put myself back together. So it was kind of the morning segment, a little more hunting and stuff like that afterwards, but then it goes into the panel schedule. So if you go to these cons, make sure you grab one of these books.
Oh, so handy.
Portland does a great job. Many of the other conventions do too, but I think they do a really good job of mapping out their con. I remember feeling it Midwest Gaming Classic. Like, it took me a couple hours to get the flow of the operation, where maybe it's just because I'm more experienced now.
Yeah, you might be.
But I just felt like it was very intuitive, the way they had this laid out. So we had it planned to go to 3 panels that day. So we wanted to hit John Riggs' panel, the Metal Jesus Crew panel, and the Angry Video Game panel.
Yes, we were front row for John Riggs and then the Metal Jesus Crew, which just felt so cool. It was like, not worthy, not worthy. And then the AVGN panel, that one was nuts. It was packed, and he was talking about his latest episode and like the production that went into it. It was fascinating.
So it was like a one take, right?
Yeah,
it was
fascinating.
And man, just very high level individuals, and it was really cool from a content creator standpoint. We're always trying to better ourselves, and the more information we can absorb from all these legendary channels is just the better, right?
So not only was there a huge room with the arcade and the vendors, there was all these side rooms, and there was a couple side rooms with more vendors in them. So in one of the smaller rooms, there was a complete collection of the Sega Genesis, courtesy of John Hancock.
Yeah, and we tried live streaming. Didn't go the greatest because this place that they held, Portland Retro Gaming Expo, must be like a bunker because you cannot get internet service.
Yeah, there was
in
no
there.
service.
But we did our best. It didn't turn out horrible, but it wasn't great either, so it's no longer up on the channel. But it was really cool because prior to it, we were able to talk to John about his collection. He actually introduced the live stream.
I completed this set years ago. I don't know exactly when I finished my set, but it took me about 20 years.
It was still so fascinating seeing all the games because there were some games I've never even heard of or seen, and they were all in minty condition. Some of them still had the plastic tabs. It was just fascinating to go through them. And then on the other side of the room was the 30-year history of the Game Boy, which was so cool. There was all this Game Boy merch, Game Boy shirts, Game Boy facts. There was even the complete collection of Game Boy games there, which is so fascinating.
Yeah, it was a really neat exhibit.
So Saturday night we were deciding if we should go out or just stay in. You know, we were exhausted for running hard the past couple days, and we decided to stay in, so we went and got some beer. We went out and got some pizza at Bellagio's Pizza, which, oh man, the pizza was so good.
It was, and this night was more of like a standard Got G type of night, really, because we're not really big going out type of dudes. It might seem like it from what you maybe see on the channel, but we do that like when we go to conventions and stuff, but when we're just usually hanging, it's like us and a buddy or two, maybe, playing some games.
Yeah, so that's what we did.
Beer.
Hey, what do you got there?
Troll juice.
And then Chris was talking this game up all day. He's like, we have to play Jack's Party Pack. We have to. And we were like, what the heck is this game? This game sounds dumb. We have to play it on our phones. Dude, if you ever play Jack's Party Pack, it is such a simple, fun game. And we were laughing our butts off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good party game for sure. So then we wrapped up the night so we could get some rest and head into the final day, a PRGE, all charged, refreshed, and ready to rock.
Day 3 is upon us. A couple hours left in the tank. I gotta take the Hurricane back to his home.
So heading into day 3 of the con, that's kind of where we wire our minds to like, this is the day, if we're going to get pickups, that we are going to pick some things up. Because usually you can wheel and deal a little bit better on the final day.
So we started the day off by doing a $5 pickup challenge with Chris from Telesplash and BK, and that video will be coming soon, don't you worry. So then Chris and BK had to leave eventually, and it was just us.
See you taters laters.
After the guys left, we didn't only hit the floor, but we also caught a couple late afternoon panels.
Yes, we did. So we started with an NBA Jam / Mortal Kombat panel, which is super cool. So the voice of NBA Jam, Tim Kitzrow, and then the artist from Mortal Kombat had a panel together, and man, was this panel fun or what, dude?
It was, and we already kind of have a prior contact with Tim. We met him back at Midwest Gaming Classic and hit it off really well, and we seen him at the convention. He's like, hey!
Yeah, he actually remembered us.
Yeah, these crazy guys, right? And he is so funny.
This is Tim Kitzrow, the voice of NBA Jam, also known as Mr. Boom Shakalaka. Are you between the ages of 18 and 35? Do you still have game, or is your game in the lane lame? Well, maybe you should find out about Boom Shakalaka Energy. That's right, if you want to dunk all night long like you did when you were 18 again, try Boom Shakalaka Energy now with Dunk It All. That's right, Dunk It All guaranteed to give you 6 extra inches of vertical. If you have a dunk lasting over 6 seconds, call Dr. J immediately because you just broke his record. Side effects include trash talking, foaming at the mouth, and catching on fire. Boom Shakalaka!
And then the next panel we went to was Pat the NES Punk, which is really cool because we met him at Mo GameCon this year. His voice was a little shot. I think he had a cold or something, so he was showing some video clips of like some future projects. And then the end of the panel, he had like a challenge where people would come up and play, and then they got prizes, and it was really cool. He was giving away download codes to his books.
And cheers to Pat Contry. He was, you know, Robert said his voice was a little scratchy. He was under the weather, but he had a very, very engaging panel.
Yeah.
And then when he went to the Play vs. Pat segment where people were playing NES games up there, he was like emceeing the thing, and the guy was on fire. You just got full on Pat Contry, sarcastic, sense of humor.
I loved it.
Oh, it was really, really cool.
Let's talk about the con itself. Should people go to PRGE?
I would say absolutely. I think it has a very niche, narrowed focus on retro gaming.
Yes.
I feel like the setup, it's just very intuitive, if that makes sense. Like it just flows very, very
it was
well.
one giant room. Like if you've been to Midwest Gaming Classic, that was 2 different rooms, and the people got separated. I loved that it was one big room, and you could go from the arcade to the booth.
I think every con is special in its own way.
Yeah.
We've only been to 3 different cons. So Mo Game Con, which is a rather small con and it's up and coming. Been to the Midwest Gaming Classic and now Portland Retro Gaming Expo. They're all special in their own way. And for us, it's all about who's there, who do you get to hang out with. And some of our best friends live in all of those areas.
Yeah.
So to say it's better or worse than any others really isn't fair. But if you like retro gaming and you've got friends to hang out with and game with and have some beers with in the area, you really need to go to Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
So we wrapped up our trip with Hair of the Dog. We went out, had a few drinks with them. We went to Great Notion Brewery, which was really cool. They had amazing beer on tap. It was so cool to be able to just sit down and talk with those guys, recap the con, and of course drink really
And this
good beer.
might sound a little lame, but their Brussels sprouts are on point. Mighty fine, porcupine.
Really lame.
Then we went to a brewery / arcade called Level, and then it was to the airport.
I wish I was still in Portland, but man, what an incredible week / weekend. Portland Retro Gaming Expo, you will always be in my heart.
Yes, and I think conventions, I know a lot of people say, oh, stuff's overpriced or blah, 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 you know, and there is sometimes negative things said about conventions. Folks, it is about the human element. If you go to a gaming convention hoping to find garage sale prices or be blown away by the deals, you're probably going for the wrong reason. Every time we've been blown away, and we've been able to interact and engage with some awesome people in the community. We've made new friends. We've furthered our relationship with existing friends. It has just been a great time. You gotta go. Insert yourself around like-minded people and badass things just start to happen. We're going to talk about this beer. We brought on Exile Brewery because they're one of our favorite breweries in our area. We figured how fitting. This is going to be a really fun episode. Let's talk about the Tropical Cool Out Stout.
Wow, this stout is very unique. It's very interesting. It starts off like fruity, and then the fruity taste kind of like turns into a stout.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes sense, it is really
It's
unique.
complex. It's very fruit forward. It hits your tongue. It's like, oh my gosh, there's that tropical, maybe passion fruit, a little bit of pineapple maybe. But then and it's like you finish on a stout. It's really strange.
It's not a super thick stout either. It's a nice, easy drinking stout. That's probably because of like the fruit and stuff in it. But it still has really good stout flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never had a stout like this ever.
Yeah.
But it's good.
It's really good. It's very unique. I wouldn't put it in the top tier realm of stouts that I've ever had, but it's very enjoyable, and I always like trying something new and unique, and Exile never disappoints. I don't know that this is one of their better brews, but it's pretty darn good.
It's enjoyable. I'm enjoying it.
All right, in the comment section below, if you have any questions about Portland Retro Gaming Expo, let us know. We'd love to help answer those. Or if you have any questions about going to gaming conventions, we think it's a really cool and positive thing. It's really cool to get out and interact with people. We always appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel, and hopefully we'll see you this next coming year at some retro gaming conventions. We'll see you next time, right here on Gaming Off the Grid. All right, man, that is a wrap. Wow, I don't think we need these anymore.
So sad.
Time for them to be retired.
We don't have room in the car for everybody. So, a couple guys are willing to take one for the team.
Hey guys.
I don't like it.
Oh, you see that? Yep, this is actually happening because we're too cheap to pay for parking for 2 different cars.
Yeah, so we got like 8 people in one car, and like 2 of us voluntarily took the trunk. It's actually the most comfortable.
It's not bad. I mean, I wish
I wish there was twos back here, but
I mean, I feel like I'm kidnapped right now. I have no idea where we're going.
But it's kind of fun.
It's not bad. It's a good experience.
It's like you get out and you're like, dude, and imagine once we get out, like the people that see us climb out of the truck.
Wait till I open the trunk when we're at a stoplight and the people behind us are shitting their pants.
Dude, can you imagine if we just crack it open? If you just crack it open and you're like, help, and then close it real quick.
Are we here?
We are here.
I'm a little seasick.